Every family has a choice, follow the herd or carve their own path. This is the Lone Wolf Podcast. Are you ready to stray from the pack?
Welcome to the Lone Wolf Podcast. Hello!
All right, we're back. This is episode 3 of our 3-part series, The Fertility Files.
Sup, loners?
What's up? How you doing?
Me?
How you feeling?
How am I feeling?
Yeah.
I'm honestly utterly exhausted.
That's okay.
But
you look great.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my new skincare routine.
Well, perfect. That's great.
And by skincare routine, I put a serum on my face now, so that's a pretty big deal.
It's a big deal for her. She wasn't doing much, and she looks gorgeous.
Doing much.
Beautiful. All natural.
Yeah. But I gotta be honest, I think that this episode's gonna wake me up. I think it's gonna wake you up too.
I hope so.
Not you, but like you.
We took a spoonful of organic raw honey.
We did.
Because we're fucking weirdos.
As a
little pick-me-up.
See, I'm tired. What's it called? A pre-workout.
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Okay, so hey, let's get into this.
Let's do it.
I have a question for you.
Yep.
Do you think that big fertility is giving people hope, or do you think they are creating lifelong customers?
I mean, I've experienced firsthand hope.
Okay.
Going towards IVF. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. I definitely think that there's an element of hope. Do I think that it's like completely like sound of mind hope? Is that what I'm trying to say?
Sound of mind hope.
Is it completely
all about giving people hope?
No. I just mean like the hope itself. Like, yes, I felt hope going towards IVF. But was that hope built upon like false promises? Like, was that hope built as deceit?
Well,
like
for us, it wasn't, because we got a finished product.
Yeah, and not everybody's as lucky, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. But I do think that, and this is after kind of doing a deep dive into this, you and I both, I think we both kind of come to the realization that like maybe there is a more long-term customer base aspect to it.
Yeah. So the second half of your question would be lifetime patients. And yeah, I completely agree with that. Do I think it's everybody? No, of course not. Like, these are never black and white answers.
Right.
But I feel like you and I both have talked about this many times, you know, in the past, even before we even like got pregnant with Zeppelin.
Yeah.
That there's a chance that we could get pregnant naturally. Like, IVF might not be the only thing we need.
Right. And we still feel that way.
Like, we weren't really sure why it wasn't happening in the first time. Not the first time. We weren't really sure why it like wasn't happening while we were in that space.
Right.
But we felt that there was never this official diagnosis of infertility.
For sure. It's
really more just like subfertile, and we couldn't figure out why. So that leaves the door open, in my opinion, that, well, there could be a handful of different reasons why, and we didn't quite figure it out, and things can reset, you know? Like, I've heard, not like personally, but I've heard this kind of mantra that there are people out there who can't get pregnant, can't get pregnant. Go to IVF or some sort of like, you know, artificial reproductive support, and they get pregnant, they have that baby, and then they go on to conceive naturally after.
I've heard that a bunch of times as well. And not just from people that like I personally know, like I've heard it through like other avenues as well.
Yeah.
Like there's been so many different instances where someone's been like, oh, well, you know, usually if you do IVF, there's a possibility. Actually, I know somebody who got pregnant.
So we have a friend, and his mom was talking to me a couple years ago when we were going through infertility. We were at like a pool party for one of the kids.
Oh, yeah.
And she told me that her daughter, so our friend's sister, couldn't get pregnant, and then got pregnant through IVF, and then conceived twins naturally after the fact.
That's pretty crazy.
So I do know somebody personally who, isn't that wild?
It is wild.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in my own bro science head, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
I just feel like once you've kind of sparked up the machine, you got the oven working,
yeah,
and things are fired up again.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, the fuse is back on.
I mean, I think it's a real thing. It's like this body recalibration theory, right? That like you, for whatever reason, can't get pregnant with your partner, and then, you know, we kind of, what was the terminology you used in the last episode? Like you, I don't know, went right over the stream. However you said it.
Don't ask me to say things that I've said previously, because the recall is not there.
It's not there.
Yeah.
See, I only know because I'm the production crew, so I'm in there editing, and I've heard
what
you
did
say
I
these
even
things
say
so many
last
times.
time? I like skipped over a stone or something like that.
And instead of like using the stones, you just like jump right over.
I'll go back and look at it.
Okay.
Because it sounds like it was pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty profound.
All right.
Anyway, like with IVF, you're kind of skipping all those things, and you're just putting, you know, the embryo, so a sperm and egg have already done their magic together, and then you're just putting it right into the womb. Right. The thought is that then your body experiences pregnancy hormones and the shifts and the changes, and then you give birth, and then your body kind of remembers. It like holds this memory of like, oh, okay, yeah, like I know how to do that, you know, and then people conceive naturally.
Starts to make sense a little bit.
Yeah.
Your body's like, oh, this is what it's supposed to be doing.
So, you know, what's a weird one that I've been kind of pondering on that concept, this like body recalibration idea. We went through secondary infertility in a weird way, because it's like second to me, but first to you.
First for us, second, yeah.
But first to you, second to me, but first for us.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It is.
I don't know what you call that type of infertility.
I think it's secondary fertility for both of us, if we're actually looking at it. You know what I mean?
Well, but there was no live birth on your, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know how it's classified, but regardless, I'm just thinking.
But I don't give birth. All I have to do is.
Yeah, but it's different. Because you're not the one that has to host and grow and birth the baby. You know, like literally all you do is donate a sperm. That's it.
It's more than that.
Okay. Anyway, what's weird about it is, or what's intriguing about it to me, is that my body has already been pregnant before. So like, it would be kind of interesting if we conceive naturally for my third baby, to like conceive naturally on my first, IVF on my second, and then naturally on my third.
It would be strange. And it is weird that you did conceive naturally prior to that, and then it still didn't work, because it was like, maybe, I don't know though.
Okay, so here's kind of some food for thought, I guess.
My DNA's been inside of you now.
Yes.
You
okay.
grew my DNA.
Okay. So I have two thoughts off of this.
Okay.
Let's see how sharp my brain can be to take us down each path.
Here we go.
Okay. Thought number one. I've heard this concept, and I don't think I've shared this with you.
I don't know where you're going. So
I'm just really curious if you've heard it before too. I've heard this concept that there's something about getting pregnant with a new partner that can be potentially causes for kind of this unexplained infertility, which is really interesting.
That is interesting.
So I have a friend, we've actually never met in person, but we work in the same field, and she was married and had like 5 boys with her partner. They get divorced, and she got remarried, and she's having her final baby.
Okay.
And they went through 2 years of infertility. Weird, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know their situation. You know, I don't know if it was male factor. I have no idea. And they did end up conceiving naturally. Like, they didn't go through, I'm pretty positive they didn't go through IVF or any of that.
Okay.
But I had messaged her, and we were kind of talking because we have parallels in our stories. I don't have 5 boys, but we have parallels in our journey, you know. And she was saying like, yeah, actually, like I've heard from a handful of people that there's this kind of concept that if it's like a new partner, sometimes you just like, your body just almost like rejects it. Like your body is familiar carrying the DNA and a child of a different man, that then going and trying to reproduce with this new partner, your body's kind of like, I don't know about that.
See, that's kind of wild, because then it starts to make me think, like, is there some sort of natural defense mechanism from carrying somebody's unwanted, like if you were to get raped or something like that? When people get raped,
we're going a whole different direction here. That's not where I thought you were going. I'm like listening all intently, and then you threw the R word out there, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute.
That does happen occasionally.
Of course, no, to finish your thought.
But people do still get pregnant that way.
I'm
saying the second time around, because you've already had someone's DNA and that we're going based off of that.
Okay.
That your body has a natural defense mechanism to reject your new partner's DNA.
What does that have to do with rape?
Because if you were a woman that was married and had children and then you got raped, that would be someone else's DNA, and that would be like a defense mechanism for your body to not carry that person's child.
I have something like similar to that concept.
Okay.
But a
little less rapey.
And I think I thought that's where you were going, and that's why it caught me off guard so much. I was like, excuse me, what?
Go on.
Well, I think if that concept is true, is that potentially almost like, I know proof is like a really big word, but like association that we're meant to only have like one partner?
Possibly.
Like the human design, you know what I mean?
But you can't, there's really no way to prove that.
Of course there's not. I'm just bullshitting.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a weird, it was something that has stuck in my head since I had that conversation with her.
Yeah.
To be like, whoa, I've never thought of that. How interesting.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy.
Mainly, like, I share this because fertility is so complex, and there are things that we will probably never be able to understand with science.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely blown my mind more than once.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the is going on here? Like, are we doing this wrong? Am I in the right hole?
Yeah.
Because, we've tried everything.
Ew.
I'm sorry.
Can you shape it up?
I'm sorry.
I really don't want to talk about rape and butt sex. I would like this to have like some sort of substance to it. That's not it. Okay. Are you proud of me? I remember my second path. Okay. We're gonna do a little U-turn. We're gonna go down path number 2 now. Also something that was, I've shared this one with you before, I know that, but something that I felt just kind of intrinsically, I guess, potentially affected my ability to get pregnant after already being pregnant before conceiving naturally and having a healthy baby, is that then in my postpartum, I was under immense amounts of stress.
True.
And I was so depleted. I lost a ton of weight. I was literally, TMI, plug your children's ears. They shouldn't be listening to this anyway, but I was literally shitting blood. Like, I had so much stress and anxiety.
That's not good. And
people were like concerned because of how like thin and frail I looked. I was barely eating, was barely sleeping. Like, I was not well.
No, and shitting blood, I would say, is not well.
No, it's not well. I know I remember asking my dad about it. I was like, Dad,
is it normal to shit blood? Coming from the RN.
I wasn't an RN yet.
Well,
but yes. And my dad was a paramedic.
You don't have to be an RN to know that shitting blood is not good.
I know. Well, but it scared me. Yeah. It totally scared me. Because then I was like, oh my gosh, is something like actually really wrong? And my dad was just like, yeah. But he's such a like shake it off dad. So I don't know. Anyway, it's just an interesting concept to me to think that I had a baby, and then in postpartum, you're very like vulnerable. You're very depleted. I mean, you just grew an entire human being from scratch.
Right.
And you really need to be nurtured and taken care of and kind of restored, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I had the complete opposite experience of that.
Yeah.
So I can't help but feel that your hormones take like the biggest dive out of any single other humanly experience, right? In postpartum. but then your body has to kind of figure out how to like come back into it, to regulate all the hormones, find homeostasis again. And while my body was doing that really important process,
you were in full on fight or flight defense mode.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's not good.
Right? So it makes me wonder if like could things get a little shifted?
Yeah.
And it could be really challenging to kind of come out of that.
Yeah, we've had that conversation before, and I think that is totally possible.
It makes sense in my head. And so this time, right, like
you had a great postpartum.
I had a great postpartum.
Other than almost dying.
Well, yeah.
But outside of that, it was a good postpartum.
Yeah.
Everything was, you recovered really quickly for what it was.
Yes. But the big thing is that I had prepped a ton of really nourishing food. So I ate really well. I was able to stay in bed for a good amount of time. Honestly, I was forced to because of my postpartum complications. And I was loved on. Like, so many people sent us flowers and like food and messages. And like, I didn't have that with my first baby at all. Right. Like, I just didn't have that type of support group. I was a young mom. I didn't have nobody else was having kids when I had Holland.
Yeah.
It was just a completely different experience.
Yeah.
And I feel so different. I feel truly just like restored and replenished. And I can't help but feel like that's got to have some sort of an impact on my body's ability to be like, yes, I would do that again.
For sure. No, I completely agree. I think that when you go from being in a position where that you feel like your body needs to, like that happening right in the peak time when your body's trying to recover and not fully being able to allow yourself to recover because of the stress, I think that would have a huge effect on your body's ability to bounce back and do it again.
And it's hard to say because I was on birth control for so long.
Right.
Leading up, like I didn't get to know my cycles or my body like really prior to conceiving Holland.
For sure.
And then, after Holland, it took me a while, I had to fully wean her from breastfeeding before I would cycle, before I got my cycle back.
Right.
Which kind of makes sense because I was so depleted that having like the high levels of prolactin and all that, like there was probably no way my body could have overcome that.
Right.
And, started cycling. But once I got to know my cycles, it's, again, I don't know, chicken before egg or whatever here, but that's when I started to realize like, oh, I actually have like long cycles. And I actually have like, I started to get like hirsutism and like things that are related to like PCOS. And I had never really had them before. So it's hard to know, like, was that a product of my body being this fight or flight and this really important like time of reset potentially?
Well, how long were you on birth control prior to like getting pregnant?
Oof.
If you didn't know what your cycles were, you clearly weren't getting cycles, right?
Well, no, when you're on I have always taken oral contraceptives. Okay. I've never done any other like contraceptive methods.
Are the ones that shut you down completely?
Yeah, they like,
gotcha.
And they are literally chemically formulated to give you a 27-day cycle.
Gotcha. Okay.
Like there were guys in a lab who were just
there's no,
how many days should we make these pills? And they were like, let's do 27. That's pretty standard for like a period. And they're like, yeah, that sounds good. So they made the formulation to be 27 days. So any woman on an oral contraceptive pill is having, that many day cycles.
Okay.
So that's why downloading the app didn't work for me.
Right.
Because I put in, I have 27-day cycles.
Because you were on birth control.
Yeah, because I was on birth control. That's not my actual cycle. That's not my body actually creating an egg and ovulating and, going through the process itself and actually releasing the true hormones. You're on synthetic hormones.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, I was on birth control since high school. And I had some gaps, in between of like not being on it at all.
Yeah.
But then if I was like dating somebody, I would get on it.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
That makes sense. Going back to the conceiving after IVF naturally. I know you were looking into it. Did you find any statistics or numbers that showed?
Yeah, it's a hard thing to like get information on, right? Because
it would be very vague, I would think.
And there's a lot of like confounding factors. Like there might be rates of people getting pregnant, but they weren't trying to get pregnant. You know what I mean? They could have been on contraceptive methods. They could have been like, we're done having kids, and then ended up accidentally getting pregnant.
There's a lot of external factors.
Yeah, people could be using infertility as a birth control method.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
But essentially meaning that I think that the rates could be even higher if we
Right.
had a study that actually really like focused on the people who get pregnant with IVF or ART and consciously decide, I want to conceive after my IVF child, and you study those people.
Right.
Like
Okay.
it would take out some of the like confounding factors, I guess.
Yeah.
But the current information that we have is like 1 in 5 couples conceive naturally after IVF.
That's honestly not bad odds.
I don't think that's bad at all.
Going from being told that you're infertile and that you potentially have to rely on a system.
Well, and you know what, babe? The infertility rate is 1 in 6. And guess what? We went through it. So
Yeah.
I guess you could say that our odds are in our favor then, huh? If we're the minority of the 1 in 6, well then why can't we be 1 in 5?
Well, when we really looked back at the IVF odds per like transfer.
Yeah.
What were those odds?
The study that we reviewed in part 2, I believe it was between 20 and 30% success rate.
So pretty close.
Yeah. And then I saw some other like data points that were saying about like a 20% chance of conceiving naturally after IVF.
So
but
maybe a slight edge to IVF?
Well,
maybe.
I don't know. You can't even, those things are so hard because there is a difference between being subfertile and being truly infertile. Like there are...
What is subfertile?
Like, so there are situations where I think it makes more sense to define infertile, I guess, and then that gives you like the definition of subfertile. Like there are actual people who like, I don't know, I'm just like not fresh on all my like IVF diagnosis stuff anymore, but there are situations, not like a vasectomy, but like there's situations where men like don't really have like any sperm at all, like literally couldn't make a baby naturally, but they go in and they can literally pull one and be able to make a baby. That couple is probably not going to be able to get pregnant outside of that.
So just like severe male factor infertility.
Cool, because there's conditions where, and I don't remember any of the names, I'm not good at men's health.
Okay, that's all right.
There are certain things where men just can't like make the sperm, and you can go in and get like surgeries and stuff for it, I guess. I don't know, I went down the rabbit holes a long time ago, and then I imagine like severe endometriosis in like women, where you just have so much scar tissue and damage in your uterus that like even with IVF the chances of getting an embryo to actually, you know, implant into the uterine lining is so minimal. So there are various things like that.
There's outliers.
Yeah, but those are people who would be classified like truly infertile. Like there's just really, you can never say no way, but there's a very small chance that these people could get pregnant without these types of technologies. We are not those people. So I kind of like the term subfertile, because we both know that it's possible for both of us. You know, we don't know just yet that it's possible for us together. I don't know.
I mean, based off of what you're saying, and 1 in 5 people getting pregnant naturally after IVF, I wonder how you would break. And again, this is all very speculative because we don't know.
Of course.
You know, they're basing this off of generalizations, but
I don't think anybody expects us to be scientists here.
No, but like if you're looking at like our situation, I wonder if those odds go up a little bit because we never got diagnosed and neither one of us have an issue as to why we weren't getting pregnant. And I'm just being optimistic because we fully intend to try naturally. So
I completely think that we would have higher odds, in my opinion. Like I don't see, if we know that I can ovulate and we know that you have good sperm now,
why not?
Those are two of the most important pieces, right? Like, and it's just all the little things that are potentially making it hard for sperm and egg to meet up together or for it to implant. Like, we don't know. Like, and maybe something's shifted in the time that we've spent, you know. But I do just want to touch too that could these statistics of like conceiving naturally after IVF be higher if we actually really spent the time looking into it. But they don't want you to look into it, right? Because it's the same concept as like this medical dependency model,
Right.
which Big Pharma uses as well, that if we can label people as infertile and that it's this chronic disease, it's this death sentence, like, then you can only have what it wouldn't be health, right? Like you can only achieve fertility through IVF, through big fertility, through assistive reproductive technologies, like through payment, like
yes,
that I can't help but feel.
You need to come back with your cash that you've saved up for the second one.
Yep.
And don't worry, we got you covered. We'll make it happen again for you.
Yeah.
You had a great experience the first time, didn't you, Morgan?
Yeah.
You loved it.
Yeah. Really loved it.
You loved every second of it.
I would do it again right now.
Yeah. That's what they want. And that's kind of where that question came from initially, is because that's what it feels like. They don't give you any. It's not like they give you a guidebook on what you can do to better yourself for the next time around.
Do you think that it's possible that IVF clinics are like incentivized? You know what I'm trying to say? To tell families like about spontaneous conception rates. Like, does that make sense? Like,
oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure that they feel like, well, that's not something that we talk about because it's not something that we're educated in. We're educated in IVF, and they probably push that to the nurses and doctors that work within the facilities. You know, we focus on what works because that's a mystery.
Right.
And we can't monitor what you're doing or eating, blah, blah, blah. Not that they would give you any of that information in the first place.
Yeah.
But I imagine it's a pretty black and white thing. It's a very clinical setting. You feel like you go in there and it's a doctor's office.
But even deeper than that, like, it's a giant money-making business at the end of the day.
100%.
And if word gets out that there's potential.
Yeah. 1 in 5.
1 in 5, 20% of your customers.
Again, it goes back to that gambling that we were talking about. If I got a 1 in 5 shot, I'm rolling the dice on that for a couple years.
Yeah.
And if I have to come back, we will. But I feel like if they started telling people that, they would lose a lot of return customers.
Well, that's exactly it. That's what I'm saying is, like, if word got out, that there's a 20% or even higher, depending on whatever your diagnosis is, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you could get pregnant without IVF, they would lose a lot of customers.
For sure.
They have to slap that infertility label on you because now you are a customer for life.
Right. They've got you. They've showed you that they can give you a baby, which is what you're desperate for.
Mm-hmm.
And you go in there like, hey, take my money, just give me a baby at the end of it.
Yep.
And if you get that, God willing, you'll be back because you know the result and you know that you potentially could avoid a couple years of wanting to pull your hair out.
Yeah, the pain and sadness
of at the top of your lungs.
Yep.
It's frustrating and very, very, again, we talked about this. It's not fun to go through that.
No. And so we probably sound absolutely crazy
for sure
that we're making this off the wall decision to try to conceive naturally instead of going right to IVF.
I'm sure this isn't the first time people think that we sound crazy, but
I like it.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me.
But yeah, absolutely. And we will 100% be going through the motions again to try to conceive naturally, because for us, I feel like it's still a big possibility.
Yep.
I definitely don't think the door was ever closed. I think it was just, we got to a point where mentally we were so drained and we couldn't do it anymore.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Like, who knows if we would have kept pushing and found different answers and went different avenues or
had a little bit of like actual guidance from somebody who knew what they were talking about. We were I mean, it was basically you doing research and being like, hey, I think we should try this. We should try
Exactly.
that.
And that's why we got to the point where I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Like, this is literally breaking me.
Right. Yeah.
I cannot be consumed by this any longer.
It was the load was too heavy to carry. We were done.
Well, and that's kind of where the hope from IVF came. And something that I liked a lot in the IVF process is that it felt like somebody was telling me exactly what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it was nice. It was like, on this date, you do this. On this ultrasound, you do this. This is your med. This is how much you take. This is when you take it. This is when you show up.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, perfect. I can do that.
Yeah.
I will do whatever you tell me to do. And for the first time, it felt like I had a plan and a schedule of what to do, and that there was actually
an outcome,
some sort of a chance,
mm-hmm.
like that I could visibly see, like a little dangling fruit, that
mm-hmm.
a baby might be at the end of it.
For sure.
Because that was one of the hardest parts of going through the 2 years prior to that, was like, you have no idea.
Yeah.
There could not be a baby at the end of this.
Well, yeah,
like,
it felt like we were wandering around in the darkness looking for that little glimmer of hope, that little bit of light, and we were just fucking bumping into walls, and it was never coming.
I know.
And then finally we go to this clinic, and then they're like, they sprinkle, like they like do this, they pull the shade open for a second, they're like, see, there's light there.
Yeah. It's the little glimmer of hope.
Yeah, they're like, you want to see that light again just for a brief second?
Yeah.
You bring the money.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Bring your paycheck or your checkbook.
They're really nice. They're super nice about it. But they definitely did not miss collecting payment.
Yeah, well, of course not.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're making this crazy decision to go for natural conception instead of IVF.
Right.
I have some reasons for me, like, why I feel strongly about that. I'm curious, though, for you, like, why do you feel like that's the right option?
Why do I feel like it's the right option?
Or the right choice?
Okay. I think, one, I still think it's completely possible.
Mm-hmm.
And
you've been saying that since, like, before I think we even... when we first started IVF.
Call me optimistic, call me crazy.
Yeah.
But in my heart, I genuinely feel like we are going to conceive naturally.
Yeah. For
one of our children.
I mean, I told you I had that dream the other night. Yeah. It was crazy.
Also, disclaimer, all of our embryos that are on ice right now are girls.
Mm-hmm.
I'm holding on to that one shot.
I don't even know if you are, though.
I am a little
really?
bit.
Okay, that's funny. Bit. So part of you is kind of like, well, it would be kind of cool to...
Here's the thing, though.
I think it's okay to say that. I know that you're, like, proud to be a girl dad. You love it. We've both said,
and I'm okay with it,
100%. We'd be totally down to have all girls.
Again, I'm okay with it. I've accepted it.
Yeah.
There is part of me that's holding on just a little bit.
Well, and you know what? I feel the same. Yeah. Like, there's definitely... I go back and forth all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I envision in my head conceiving naturally and then finding out the gender and being completely torn on which one I would want it to be.
I know.
Like, I think people would just assume that because we have 2 daughters and we have all girl embryos, that if it was a boy, I would immediately just be like, yes, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know. A part of me would be kind of sad because I actually really like having daughters.
I do too. And honestly, and this is not, I'm not lying at all. If we conceive naturally and we get a positive pregnancy test and that thing stays, I won't care what gender it is.
Yeah.
I will be...
It could have 2 heads for all I care.
I'll be scream crying like Zeppelin in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Because that would be awesome.
It would be amazing, yeah.
But yes, it would be cool if, like, the one that, if we got one naturally and it turned out to be a boy, it would almost feel like this kind of divine thing.
Yeah.
It was meant to work.
I was going to say, I think it's almost on a deeper level too, that it's not just about, like, gender preference. Right. It's also just, I think it's natural and human that you and I both crave to like create a baby out of, like, intimacy,
right?
Not in a, fluorescent light thing where I'm, like, wearing a hair bonnet and, like, have my legs up in stirrups. You know what I mean? Like, there's this natural desire to make a baby that way with the person that you love.
Yeah, the way that...
And then
the way that God intended it.
Yeah.
And then be nice.
Exactly. And then the natural desire to, like, have those moments of, like, surprise and excitement and wonder. And, it's kind of weird to go in and like
already
know the gender.
Yeah.
Know that it's genetically healthy,
right?
Know that it is currently sitting inside of me, and just kind of like twiddling your thumbs, being like, well, do you think it's going to stick? It's just, it goes against nature.
It does. And it almost feels like we missed out on that portion of it.
It totally does.
Yeah.
I feel that way.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
And I mean, again, I'm not saying, we are very fortunate.
No, yeah, no, it does not like...
I'm not complaining about this, our circumstances or the situation, but I think anybody that's gone through IVF can understand that.
Yeah. Well, and it's, I don't know, it's such a like weird thing, right? Like we could literally decide tomorrow, like we're ready to have another baby, and all I have to do is send an email.
Yeah, it's weird.
Isn't that weird? Like I'm 14 months postpartum and I still haven't gotten my cycle back. I don't know this for a fact, but I don't know if you even have to have your cycle back to go in for IVF. Like I could literally send them an email and be like, we're ready. And they would be like, cool. And they would just put me on the medications.
That's a good question.
Well, but you don't have to ovulate because they put all the drugs there.
Yeah.
To mimic the,
I don't think
the process.
I don't think you would have to.
It wouldn't make, I don't see why you wouldn't, which is wild.
That is kind of crazy.
And of course, like, there's a part of me that's like, man, it's kind of tempting. Just because when I start thinking about us trying to conceive again, it brings up a lot of the like heartache and the trauma of going through that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just don't know if I'm ready to like be in that headspace again and feel just the like
vulnerability,
the vulnerability and the defeat,
Yeah.
that I could make that all go away if I just took my credit card over to the fertility center,
for sure.
Yeah. But that's not my, forefront feeling.
Well, and we're taking it slow. We're not in like a super rush. We're gonna do it at a pace that feels right.
Yeah, when the timing feels right.
Yeah. And again, if we get to a point where we're like, this is exhausting, we can't do it anymore, we have that option.
Yeah, and that's definitely
right.
Nice for sure. We're closing this series with a brand that I genuinely love and personally use, Birthright. From the conception of our species, women have been nourished by wild foods, medicinal plants, and the entire animal nose to tail. And that's exactly what Birthright brings back to life. These supplements are made from real food ingredients like grass-fed liver, bone marrow, and fish eggs, paired with powerful herbs that support every stage of womanhood. I'm currently taking Revive to prepare my body for conception after going through infertility and IVF. Truly never felt so aligned with a supplement. It's not synthetic or filler-packed, it's ancestral nutrition in a capsule form. Whether you're rebuilding your health before pregnancy or searching for a prenatal you can trust, Birthright offers a collection of whole food blends designed to honor your hormones, fertility, and vitality, the way that nature intended it. Reclaim your health through nourishment that's wild, wise, and time-tested. Use code LONEWOLF for 15% off at birthright.co. That's LONE, WOLFE, for 15% off your first order at Birthright Supplements. Because optimal health, fertility, and wholeness is your birthright. After 2 years of infertility and going through IVF, Jordan and I wanted to get a real look at what was going on in our bodies before trying to get pregnant again.
Yeah, because hearing your labs look normal doesn't mean much, when normal basically means half the country's tired and inflamed.
And trying to get full lab work through traditional doctors can take months or even years, and cost you thousands of dollars. Function Health makes it easy. No chasing referrals or waiting for permission to understand your own body.
With Function, you get over 100 lab markers all at once, and they don't just give you numbers, they tell you what each result means, why it matters, and show you the difference between normal and optimal.
A clinician actually reviews all your labs and gives you a detailed, personalized report on what to adjust in your diet, lifestyle, and supplements. It's like finally getting a translation for what your body's been trying to tell you.
And the coolest part, you get a second blood draw included in your one-time fee to track your progress. Because apparently, healing doesn't happen in one appointment.
If you've ever felt dismissed or brushed off, or you just want to take control of your health before pregnancy, or ever, we can't recommend Function Health enough.
You can use the link in our show notes to sign up, and when you do, you're helping support our podcast and the mission behind it, empowering families to think critically, live intentionally, and refuse the normal.
So for me, I think one of the big calls, one of many, but one of the big calls for me to try to avoid IVF. There's the obvious, it's a harder process for the woman, it's daunting to think of having to like do all the, and now I have 2 kids to lug around to all the ultrasounds and the blood draws and all the medications and the timing and the way it just controls your life. I don't really, that doesn't sound fun.
No.
But of course I would do it all,
Sure.
I would do it because I know the outcome is completely worth it. I would do it again if we were in that situation. But a bigger reason for me is that I had postpartum complications that again, this is just an internal feeling. I don't know this for fact, but I just really think could have been related to IVF.
Yeah.
Like the fact that it was an IVF pregnancy. So for just a brief backstory, because I don't really want to get into all of it like on this episode, but we mentioned in the previous one that I did have a subchorionic hematoma. So I was, bleeding in the first trimester, and that was terrifying. And I've talked about this with another friend who is a professional in the birth space. And I asked her opinion if there could be a correlation here. And so what I think potentially happened is I had the subchorionic hematoma in the first trimester. I had its pocket of blood underneath the placenta. My body then goes in and tries to clot it off, right? And I think maybe it did that too well. Because then what happened is we had an unmedicated home birth, and it was freaking amazing. I loved every minute of it. Yeah. I would do that 10 more times. Like it was like literally your sister, we were 5 weeks apart in our pregnancy. I had Zeppelin first. When she went into labor, I was jealous. And I was only 5 weeks postpartum. I was like, I want to be in labor. Like, I want to give birth. Like, it was seriously such an amazing experience until it wasn't. Right. I ended up having a retained placenta, meaning that after you have the baby, the placenta should then detach from the uterine wall, and then you would deliver the placenta. That did not happen for me. And then I also, if you remember this, had a valimentous like cord insertion, meaning that, I know some of these terms are really going over people's heads, but it just means that typically the umbilical cord would be attached like to the placenta itself. Mine was attached to the membranes and then attached by like vasculature to the placenta. Right. And so when
wasn't on there very good.
It wasn't on there very good. And when the midwife went to try to apply like gentle traction to see, if the placenta was ready to be delivered, the whole cord ripped off. So it's called a cord avulsion. So now there's like nothing hanging off the placenta. There's no tether there. So there's nothing to try to get traction to try to, the only way to get it out now is to hope my body does it or to do a manual removal, which is as barbaric as it sounds. I can tell you from firsthand experience. But anyway, I had a major hemorrhage, and had to transfer to the hospital, and, I got the care that I needed, and everything was okay, and came back home with my baby, and I'm alive to tell the story. But I can't help but feel
everything is okay. That's a little.
Well, I don't want to get into it, and you know what I mean? I'm just not. I don't really want to go down that.
It was scary as shit.
Yeah. It was very scary. It was scary for me. It was really.
Took you up to the hospital. I was holding this brand new baby, and I was looking at her like.
And had a 5-year-old sitting next to you.
Yeah, we all got in the bed. Yeah. And I was just sitting there like, I hope she makes it.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
Like,
it's so scary.
Good. Yeah.
It's so scary. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, it was scary. Anyways.
Like, I can't even imagine how scary it was for you, how unknowingly scary it was for Holland, because I don't think she really understood, but a part of her knew that something was scary.
Yeah, she knew something was wrong.
Yeah. And I would love to not put our family through that ever again.
Well, yeah, I mean, it wasn't like you intended to, but yes, absolutely.
No, I know, but like potentially if IVF.
Yeah. If that was the reason why.
Yeah. And I don't know that for fact, but I can't help but feel that potentially there was relation. Yeah. And I think even just in my own head, there's trauma there, obviously, for all of us, that navigating this next pregnancy, there might be some challenges. There's going to be some fears, even in, and then in the birth space, like there's going to be some fears in my head of like, what if it happens again? Like, am I gonna make it this time?
Right,
Like, it's scary. It's really scary.
Yeah.
And there's this part of me that feels safer if we conceived naturally. Does that make sense?
100%. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Like, there's just something about
it almost like takes away that idea. At least mentally, it makes you feel like, okay, well, this is a different situation, and maybe that was the reason why.
Exactly. At least mentally,
right?
It would help me feel better.
I think so too.
Yeah. So I think that's definitely one of my like big reasons for choosing,
It's a pretty good reason.
Yeah. And then I also really believe that we haven't stopped like pursuing better health. It's not like once we chose IVF, we just threw in the towel and we're like, all right, well, Dr. S, you got us now. Like, take the wheel. And we just stopped like caring or learning or changing lifestyle habits or I don't know what you think, but I really believe we are healthier today than we were when we made our embryos.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely feel healthier than I was then.
Yeah.
I know you.
It's hard to say for me because I don't know.
You're kind of back and forth, but like,
I have to go through pregnancy and postpartum, and I'm breastfeeding, and like it's kind of hard to gauge my fertility right now.
Right.
When I'm not even cycling.
Yeah, but as far as like
a health perspective,
cutting out, junk and doing all that, we definitely are way like our shit's tighter than it was then.
Yeah.
As far as like what we eat and all of that.
And we just know. I mean, we know more, and making lifestyle changes are hard. It takes time. You don't just wake up one day and be like, oh, I know that there's a bunch of environmental factors that affect my fertility. Let's get rid of them all today.
Right.
It doesn't work that way. And I think knowing that we want to go the natural conception route, we've already been thinking about it. Like, I'm not even obvious. It's literally not even possible for us yet, but we've been thinking about it because we know we don't want to have a huge age gap.
Right.
And we know that potentially if we're going to go the natural route, it could take longer than we think it could.
Yeah.
So I don't know about you, but knowing that, like, I'd rather start a little earlier than maybe we would think would be the ideal gap, just in case it takes a year beyond that or whatever. Yeah. So a big thing that we have done was get some extensive blood work done.
Right. Which was very cool.
Super cool.
Yeah.
So I was actually reading Good Energy by Casey Means, and which is a fantastic book. If anybody is kind of new to this space and you want to learn just deeper about your body and metabolic health especially, it's a really, really cool book. But she actually said in there to check out Function Health. And then when I checked out Function Health, I realized that it's by Dr. Mark Hyman, and he's kind of like the like godfather of like functional medicine.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, this is really cool. Like, I wish we could have had this 4 years ago,
Yeah.
And so I told you about it, and I was like, I'm definitely going to do it. Especially because I had a postpartum hemorrhage, and thinking that potentially my postpartum with Holland, with my first baby, could have made things a little out of whack and could have made our conception journey harder.
Right.
I'm like, I kind of want to find out now. I want some data. So it gives you like 98 biomarkers, which is wild.
Yeah, and it breaks them all into groups.
Yes. It's so awesome.
Yeah.
And then for somebody who like has no idea what any of these labs are, you can then like click on each value or each like category, and then it'll tell you like what it is and why it's important, and the like lab value ranges, but then also the optimal ranges, and then how to improve it and what supplements you could take. And
very, very informative and cool.
It's extensive. Yeah. But and then we had you do it. Yep. So we both now have a full
panel.
Full panel. And then what's really cool is included in the like, it's a one-time fee. You also get to retest and see if the changes that you're making are changing your values, which like never happens with a traditional doctor.
Yeah.
Nobody ever is like, take this medication and then we'll go check and see how you're doing later,
right.
you know?
Which is important.
Yeah.
Because then it's like you can kind of get a baseline to see. And then if you did make changes, then you can kind of understand, okay, those changes actually worked.
Yeah. And if they didn't, then how do we shift?
Yeah, exactly. Where do we go from here?
Yeah. Was there anything in your blood work that, because you've actually only told me some of it. I don't know your full panel.
Yeah, so most of it came back within range, which was cool.
Okay, can we just start we talked about this in a previous episode, but I think one of the really cool things that Function Health gives you is a biological age. So it's an indicator of the quality and rate of aging on a genetic, cellular, and molecular level, which is really cool. And then it goes on and on and on and on to give you a deeper insight. But my biological age is 18.
That's cute. I remember when I was a child.
It's cool though. I think that's so cool
for you. You don't want to know my biological ages?
You're trying to make babies with me. You should think that this is cool.
It is cool.
Okay.
I'm really happy for you. You want to know what mine is?
You told me. I don't remember though.
31. 31.
And I'm 18.
What the fuck happened? You know what happens? And this is
I
for
know
all
exactly
you people in
what
your
happened.
30s. Once you hit 30, shit just starts falling apart.
No.
Everything starts hurting.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, wait
go.
till you...
No. Go back and listen to Bottle Service. And then you come back and ask the question why Jordan's biological age is. But your age isn't older than, it's still younger than your
it better not
calendar
be older.
age.
People tell me all the time I look young.
Okay, but this isn't about what's on the outside, honey. This is about, but this is showing how healthy you are on the inside, meaning how well you've taken care of your health in your previous years.
Okay, well, next
and you
year,
haven't always been a plus student in that department.
Next year, you want to know what my goal is? If I redo this blood work, you want to know what my goal is? To remain 31.
There you go. I think that's a realistic goal.
Thank you.
I'm trying to get to 17, but.
So back to my stuff.
Yes.
I got it pulled up.
Yeah.
Out of 90 biomarkers, 89 were in range.
That's more than me.
I'm sorry. Out of 100 biomarkers.
Okay.
89 were in range. 11 were out of range.
That's higher than me, babe.
Really?
Yep. I have 86 in range and 13 out of range.
Better than the 18-year-old.
Well, I also am postpartum depleted from growing your child for 9 months and bleeding out, but it's relative.
Okay. So really what came up in mine, there were a few things that were out of range, but most of them were under the cholesterol, heart health area.
Which so were mine.
Yes. Yep. We had a lot of similarities in that fact. We both eat almost the same diet, at least up until we did this, because you've changed yours slightly. But I mean, but for the most part, we still
do our grocery shopping and you know what I mean?
And I've changed mine slightly too.
Yeah.
I definitely eat more bread now, like sourdough.
Yeah.
But when I got all this done, it was more based on a animal-based diet. We were
90 to 95% animal-based.
Yes, we were. And that's how I lost a ton of weight.
Yeah.
But when you're on the animal-based diet, your LDL cholesterol and all of your cholesterol numbers go up.
Which makes sense because you're eating a lot of animal fats.
High saturated fats, animal fats, so cheeses, milk. We drink raw milk.
Red meat.
You're getting tallow. All of that is adding to that LDL cholesterol going up. The ApoB, which is I guess that is and I'm probably talking and people don't understand what I'm saying, but if you do that, that's another thing that goes up with high cholesterol. There are some things that you wouldn't want those things to be high,
right?
If you were eating a traditional American diet,
right?
That would be a concern for heart health.
That there are stress, like stressor markers, and if those were elevated and your cholesterol levels were elevated, that would be more of like cause for concern.
Right.
But if your like insulin sensitivity is good and you're not having like high C-reactive protein or like inflammatory markers, then it's a sign, that it's an expected byproduct of eating the animal-based diet.
Right. So like in context, what it says here is what matters more is the context in if your triglycerides are low and HDL is high and inflammation is controlled, then the risk of like the heart disease and that type of thing kind of cancels itself out.
Yeah.
Where if you were eating the traditional American diet and you had that high LDL, you would have issues. Potentially because you would have a lot more inflammation in the body.
Okay.
And that's kind of, and this is, I put all of my stuff into chat to get like, just an outline and a general summary.
I don't know about you, but like all of my cholesterol stuff is elevated as well. I think we have all the same stuff elevated, which makes sense. It kind of freaked me out a bit.
Yeah.
Were you freaked out at all?
A little bit, because it comes up in your heart, like heart stuff.
Yeah.
Like, because it shows up in like heart health.
Right.
So it did freak me out a little bit, but after like going through it and kind of having chat discuss it with me and go over all of the, why it would be that way, especially giving it my insight on my diet and all of that, it wasn't as alarming. And seeing like how all of those different areas, because I was low in iron binding.
Yeah, globulin.
Which makes sense because I could be getting too much iron, which then pushes your other iron down.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Then
isn't it kind of so cool to see how like everything is interconnected, but also can present totally different in different individuals? I don't know, this stuff just like fascinates me. I think it's so cool.
It did show that I had slightly elevated inflammation in my gut, but that also said because it's harder for my gut to process all of the saturated fats and proteins.
Okay.
Without a lot of fiber.
I have a interesting thought on that then. So there's this book that a doctor wrote called Eat Right for Your Type. I had never heard of it before until I was sitting around a table with some other like-minded moms. Our kids were all in this like summer garden class, our like homeschooled kids. And we were talking about how it's this concept that the different blood types have evolved in certain, like at certain points in the timeline of human development, which is really interesting. And so we're both A, right? You're A positive, I'm A negative. I know that because I had the ROGAM stuff.
Am I?
Yeah, you're A positive. Okay. Remember we had to
ask my mom.
No, we had to get the Eldon card, and I had a blood type.
That's right. That's right. Oh, that's right. Because she didn't know either.
Yeah, well, because I needed to know if I had to consider ROGAM or not.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're both A blood types, and so his philosophy. A lot of people don't support this guy because they think there's no research or whatever. It's all kind of speculation.
It does sound a little woo-woo.
It sounds a little woo-woo, but it's still intriguing nonetheless.
Yeah.
Anyway, the A blood type, he believes evolved from when humans used to be, when they shifted from being like hunter-gatherers to being like more of like a agrarian society.
Okay.
So they were eating more like wheat and grains and legumes and less meat, so that people who are A blood type respond better to more like vegetarian based diets.
That makes sense.
Does it though?
I think it does.
We're both A blood types though. You think that we're meant to be vegetarians? Because I don't think I would ever pick a vegetarian diet in my entire life.
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the idea makes sense.
Maybe.
I think it does. In my head, the way that you explained it,
he believes that type A blood didn't exist until people shifted. Like, if I'm understanding the book and his philosophy correctly, he's saying that type A blood type did not show up until this change happened in the development of humans, and then a new blood type kind of came on board.
No, I don't.
And so anybody who has a type A blood type could be tracked back to, like, you know, that the first humans with that blood type were eating diets of this type.
Sounds like a lot of bullshit.
I could have it completely wrong too. So, like, no one come at me if you're some big believer of, I think his name's Dr. Diamato or something.
Obviously, it's completely like a made up theory.
Yeah. But so what was interesting to me about it is that naturally I have always really liked vegetables. And that was the only part about going animal based that was kind of like, oh, to me, is that I enjoy eating them.
Yeah.
I was like, I love, like, the first thing I'm gonna get is Brussels sprouts if it's on the appetizer menu when we're eating out. You know what I mean? Like, I love veg, and like not really consuming it anymore in the animal based diet like kind of bummed me out. But I was like, whatever. Like, it's so much easier just eating like meat and dairy and cheese and whatever.
Right.
And so I don't know if this is coincidence or not, but I just think that it's interesting speculation. Obviously, like, being postpartum, anybody listening who's a woman and has been postpartum, your body goes through a lot of changes. Like, I also had a C-section with my first baby, and I had a vaginal birth with Zeppelin. And so, like, my hips like really shifted and had to actually, like, my whole pelvis had to actually, like, go through the process of expanding an entire baby coming through. And that didn't happen with my first. So my hips just felt really wide. And I don't know, it was like, I think part of it's just genetics, and I'm very tall, like I'm 5'9", but I always get the comments after I give birth. People are always like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you just had a baby in there, because my body just pretty quickly, like,
goes back.
Doesn't go back, but just kind of tightens up. Like, but I felt like I was just having the hardest time. Like, I was just holding on to these like 5 or 10 pounds, and my body just would not shift. And I was also comparing it to my first postpartum, where, I was like 120 pounds at 5'9", and like, obviously those are not the proper comparisons, but it was weird just feeling like, why will this not shift? Like, I know that I'm eating really clean. Like, I have proper movement. I'm lifting weights. I started doing Pilates in the living room every single day for like 60 days, and nothing, my weight would not budge. My body would not budge. Like, I could not understand it. And so then right around 1 year postpartum, because I got this blood work back, I was like, oh, kind of freaks me out that my cholesterol is like that high, and I do have some inflammatory markers that are a little elevated. And then I was just thinking back to, like, well, if my blood type isn't meant to eat a ton of meat, maybe, while I love animal based, I love the concept of it, exactly, maybe it's not right for my body. And so I started like pulling back a little bit on the saturated fats, pulled back on especially the like processed meats. You and I both like did that because we realized while we're trying to eat a lot of meat, we can't always be like cooking. So we would get like pre-cooked.
Take it with us to work or whatever.
And like the Grand Teton hot dogs, and like we would get like easy, quick meats, which I think potentially was causing some of the stuff that we had.
I think so.
But anyway, it could have just been timing that I hit a certain point in postpartum where, I probably had some hormonal shifts, and my body was just naturally kind of like, okay, we'll let go of some stuff. I'm not nursing nearly as much, so my body's not as like protective. But I made those shifts, and then I literally lost 10 pounds, and I weigh less than I have. Literally, I weigh less than I did in high school right now.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah. And weight is not everything. In no way am I sitting here, I'm just in case you can't tell, I'm a very like, I love the information. I love the data. I want to know all these things, And it just is a really interesting observation to me.
For sure.
And I'm so curious to see what my markers are going to be when I retest.
That'll be very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting.
When are you going to retest?
I don't know. When are you supposed to? Is there a time frame? Isn't it within the first year? Or is it 6 months? Or
I feel like it would probably be around 6 months, like 4 to 6 months, if I had to guess.
I might wait a little longer.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
I just feel like that would be... I feel like you would get better accuracy.
Yeah.
Waiting a little longer.
like
I'm
longer
not
than
like
6
I'm not in a
longer than
rush.
6
You know what I
months.
mean? Like I don't need the information right now
Yeah. Well, and really, we were doing this
to prep
to
for
prep for
right.
conception, and
So I think a little closer to when we start trying, or maybe while we are trying, would
Yeah.
be more beneficial.
Yeah. Yeah, and you didn't really have anything that would be like raise a
No.
red flag for
No.
fertility.
Well, they gave me some suggestions as to what I could change in order to keep, the inflammation at bay, and also like you don't want no inflammation from what I had read.
Okay.
You just don't want chronic inflammation.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
your body will go
should
through some
have
inflammation.
your body should. It's like the fever concept. Like your
Right.
body would run
Right.
a fever in response to something. That's a good sign that your system is working correctly. Your
Exactly.
body should be able to do these mechanisms,
Right.
but it shouldn't be chronic.
Right.
It shouldn't always be turned on.
Right.
That makes sense.
So fish, fatty fish,
Yeah.
cod liver oil, that type of
Ooh,
supplementation, which
green pastures.
shout out. Yeah. So I probably will start supplementing some of that just to.
Well, our fridge is full of it, so
Yeah, no, there's no reason why I shouldn't be doing it.
exactly. And our pantry is full of sardines. So.
But it is funny because one of the guys at the park recently asked me about cod liver oil.
Yeah,
he's an older guy, and he was like,
"Wasn't this literally?
Do you take that stuff?
Wasn't that yesterday?
It was 2 days ago.
Okay.
Do you take that stuff?" And I was like, honestly, not really. I was like, but the kids do. Morgan does.
Yeah.
The girls do. I was like, but maybe I should.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and then.
That I just learned that I probably should.
And then you just learned that you probably should.
Yeah.
I had the same recommendation on mine.
Okay.
To do the that I need just a little more omega-3s.
Yeah. You want to run through yours real quick?
There's only one rabbit hole that I went down.
Okay.
Well, that's not true at all. I went down a lot of rabbit holes. There is one rabbit hole that I would like to share.
Okay, good. All right.
And it's the biomarker leptin. And the reason why it stuck out to me is I follow somebody who is really big in the health world that we relate to. Mm-hmm. I know that's a broad term, but she is very similar to us, runs her own brand and company of real food, is a, ingredient scout, all of that stuff. She is currently going through infertility. First baby. Hasn't had a baby yet. I mean, first time
trying.
Yeah. She's going through infertility, and she did Function Health as well.
Okay.
And then wrote a blog about leptin because she got that biomarker back and it was low for her as well. And so she went down her own rabbit hole and was like, who knew that leptin was so important for fertility, right, and it's low on mine, and maybe that's the missing link that I have why I can't get pregnant. And then sure as shit, here's mine and I have low leptin, and I'm like, whoa. And this is after 2 years of infertility, 5 different providers. I can't remember. I calculated this out the other day. I can't remember if 5 includes the fertility doctor or not. So 5 or 6, right? 4 different facilities. So much blood work. Nobody has ever checked my leptin.
That's crazy.
So I have no idea if my leptin was low.
Prior.
Yeah, prior to trying to conceive.
It's definitely interesting.
Okay, so basically leptin is a hormone that communicates to your hypothalamus, which is the part of the brain that controls your hormones.
Okay.
It lets the control center know that you have enough energy to be safe to have good ovulation and to get pregnant. Okay, that's a very condensed version of it. It's
right.
A lot more complex than that, but that's the ultimate concept.
Right.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
And so I was curious of course, my now burning question is, have I always had low leptin? So I had to do some digging on could my diet affect it? Is the fact that I'm postpartum affect it? Could the fact that I hemorrhaged affect it? Could the fact that I'm breastfeeding affect it? Right. So I kind of went down that rabbit hole, and
probably all of the above.
Probably all of the above.
Yeah.
So I actually found some really cool things. Like I said, everything is all interconnected. I had to kind of do this puzzle piecing stuff to figure out leptin. Leptin was the driving thing to figure out the puzzle pieces, but I found some cool things along the way. Basically, there's potential that if you have low leptin, that it's your body signaling that it needs help and support, that it's under stress, it's an energy depletion, and you need to help it before your body's going to be able to ovulate.
Okay.
What I find really interesting, and this is a random tangent for another day, but everybody gets their cycle back at different points postpartum.
Right.
And why? You know what I mean? Like, I know people who are so nutritionally depleted, who probably weren't taking high quality prenatals, who weren't eating great diets in pregnancy, who gave birth and then didn't really do anything to take care of themselves postpartum. And then
Right.
they get their cycle back 4 months postpartum. But you would think that like your body would have a protective mechanism, right?
Yeah.
That it wouldn't ovulate until your body felt that it was safe enough to even consider getting pregnant again.
That is interesting.
And of course, like, it's way more complicated than that. And there's things that we could probably never even figure out or know. But it's just a really interesting thing to me because I'm somebody who I had to wean Holland completely before I ovulated.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's going to be the same scenario here with this baby.
Probably.
I know.
Yeah.
It's interesting. One of my midwives mentioned that she's seen commonly that the tall, thinner moms don't get their cycles back until like a year or 2 years postpartum or like weaning completely from breastfeeding.
That is interesting. I wonder why that would be.
I know. I have no idea. I imagine maybe it has to do with like body fat storage.
That could be.
Because that, and it could make sense actually, because leptin is typically lower in people who have like 18 to 20% or lower body fat.
Okay.
So if you don't have good fat storage, leptin is typically lower as a byproduct of that.
Okay.
You know?
Did you just figure that out in real time?
Yeah, I am kind of putting that together.
Nice.
Yeah. I can't help it. Anyway, what's cool is I found that I'm actually showing a classic pattern of highly efficient, well-nourished, but still energy protective postpartum.
That's good.
Which is really cool.
Yeah.
It felt really good. So basically, I'm doing all the right things to nourish myself, but my body is still just needs some time.
Yeah.
And what I like about that too is this is taking us back to this idea of natural conception after IVF. I could send the email and say, we decided, that we were ready to have another baby. Let's go do it. And we could force it all.
Right.
But instead, we're going to let my body gauge and let us know when it's ready to do it again.
Yeah.
And that there's something about that feels better.
Feels better. And especially going back to trying naturally, it kind of feels like that's part of the process.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I want to kind of put the trust back into like my body again. And I have learned to not trust my body as a product of going through infertility, Yeah,
that'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically I'm not in starvation mode, but my body's not yet signaling full reproductive readiness either, which makes sense.
Yeah.
And then I also did learn that so prolactin, which is the breastfeeding hormone, can also play an impact in suppressing estrogen. Because I'm not cycling yet, I'm not producing, like estrogen in the way that I would if I was cycling. And estrogen actually helps lower cholesterol. So that made me feel a little better.
Okay.
That my LDL is like so astronomically high from this blood draw. But potentially part of it is because I'm not cycling yet.
Okay.
Then when I start cycling and my other hormones are on board, which makes sense because cholesterol, you need cholesterol to be able to make sex hormones.
Yes. There were some things that were off for you, right? That were slightly lower because of the potential hemorrhage.
Ferritin. I had low ferritin.
That's right.
But other than that, my like hemoglobin and hematocrit and iron and all of those were actually great. Yeah. And I put a lot of intention into my iron like support and healing in my postpartum. So it's just cool to see it like pay off.
Very cool.
But ultimately what I got out of my function health is potentially a little bit of like iron support,
Mm-hmm.
which in my opinion, I feel like I'm already doing the right things. I think it just is time,
Yeah.
because function can't take all those things into consideration. It doesn't
No.
know me or my history in that way. Adding omega-3, same thing as you. I have been doing the cod liver oil. I do it in a smoothie. And then I also have mastered mixing sardines into canned tuna. And it's actually really good. I enjoy it. And every once in a while, if I'm feeling wild, I'll pop an entire sardine in my mouth and just power through it.
Yeah, that's wild.
I'll do anything for health. Okay, honey?
Yeah, we know. We know.
Then I think this is probably like anybody, but supporting better sleep and lowering my stress. But I'm a mom and our baby does not sleep through the night by any means.
Yeah.
And some things you just can't fully control. And it's just a season of life,
Yeah, mine said that as well. It said that there's some level of stress that was contributing to certain things.
Yeah, which makes sense. It's
like,
hard not to have stress in the modern day.
The hair's turning gray, so
it is. Yeah, I think you have a new gray hair every day, to be honest.
Yeah, fun stuff.
But yeah, at the end of like getting your blood draw, clinician actually goes in and reviews all of it and then gives you like a report, which is really cool. I didn't agree with every single like recommendation just because I am who I am. So I had to do some of my own kind of outsourcing beyond that.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, like, what a cool tool.
Very cool. And at the very least, if you're thinking about doing it, I think it's only going to give you more insight into what's going on in your body, even if you're not, trying to conceive or get pregnant.
Yeah.
Just to know certain things and understand what is contributing to certain areas that you can improve.
Well, and what's really cool, I had a friend who signed up for Function after I was like sharing my, results and experience with it with her. She was having some thyroid stuff and her doctor put her on thyroid medication and she took it because she didn't know what else to do, but then it just doesn't align for her and she doesn't want to be on a medication. So she wanted to like get a full, panel done and get more information on her body. And I haven't actually followed up with her. She just got the results not too long ago. Like we were talking about that, but I don't know yet, what's come from it. But it would be really cool if she ends up getting like some answers and being able to change some things and then get off of medication. I mean, that's a big deal.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
That's like the end goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, to not be on medication.
It would be for me, that's for sure.
Yeah. So I think, all said and done with all of the blood work and all the stuff going into trying to conceive again, which we're not too far out.
Yep.
Right? I mean,
right around the corner,
we're
honestly.
thinking a few months.
Honestly, we should see my body to
ovulate. Yeah, I guess you're
right. The
issue
issue is I need your kid to stop waking up 4 times in the night and climbing on top of my body and going, Ma,
every night.
Which means she wants to nurse.
She's a fart bag crybaby.
But the problem is the nighttime nursing is like one of the biggest things. I think that's what's because my body has been trying to.
Yeah.
Things have definitely been like changing in the past month or two, but
she's she loves her mama.
Yeah.
She's a mama's girl.
Well,
but she needs to stop because we do have we're trying to make things happen sooner than later.
Yeah. Or at least have the opportunity to try.
Yes,
would be great.
That'd be fantastic. But yeah, I mean, I think people would potentially benefit from knowing more about their bodies, and even people that have done IVF and have gone through infertility and all of that. If you haven't tried any of that stuff, it's well worth it to just give it a shot. I don't think any bad's going to come from it. If anything, you're going to start to feel more healthy.
Yeah.
And I think for us, our journey going back into trying again, it's a little scary and a little bit daunting, but I feel very optimistic, and I think we got a good shot, and we could come back here in 6 months to a year and be like, what the fuck's going on, guys? This is bullshit.
Yeah.
We're back at the IVF clinic.
And they're all going to be like, I thought you guys didn't trust big fertility.
Yeah. And I'm like, shut up.
I'll be like,
shut the fuck up.
You're right. We don't.
Shut up, Karen. We're fucking desperate again.
But we Exactly.
Fucking back, baby. The clinic's fucking got what we need.
Oh, it's bad because honestly, that's
it.
true. That's exactly how I would be feeling.
That's the truth. Turn into little crackheads for babies.
Crackheads for babies.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Well, I hope that this 3-part series was insightful.
Hopefully it resonated with you a little bit. And
Yep. And you know what? If you have somebody in your life who is in one of these chapters, longing for a baby, considering going to an IVF clinic, have already gone to an IVF clinic and had, really don't want to go there again, whoever it may be, send it to them.
Yeah.
Send it to them. I hope that's truly the reason why we made this 3-part series, is because we've experienced this firsthand.
And we want to share it with other people that maybe need some support or are going through it.
Yeah, we want to share our story and tell you the things that nobody else might be telling you.
Yes.
We're asking the questions that you're really not supposed to ask, and we're shedding light on some things that are probably supposed to stay in the dark.
Absolutely.
If you feel at home here, leaving a 5-star review helps other families find their way too.
Come hang out with us on socials at Lone Wolf Podcast, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss what's next.
Remember, sometimes you have to stray from the pack to discover where you truly belong. Until next time, loners.